we've got our Monday footage as usual. So let's get into it. It's funny, this footage is a little bit shorter than some of our other Monday night slogs that go like the full hour. What's going on, gents? I think we've got a little bit of technique talk on the side and not as many death matches, but I always like to see that. We've got Clay and David starting things off, myself and Cooper, Steven and Caleb talking smack to Austin, I'm assuming. Alright, so Clay riding really high up in turtle position. Where's Dad? Dad had a little too much whiskey, couldn't make it to the stream tonight. No, he's getting ready for some travel, I think. Let's see. What does he get? Okay, going off to the side. Clay really likes to sag heavy over the shoulders for the turtle breakdown. Works really well. I think we've seen him do that like rolling back take a number of times at this point. Hey Cole. Definitely a very useful option for bigger guys. Like I think I could pull that off on maybe on Cooper. I don't know if I could pull it off on like Clay or David or Peters for that matter. But it's a good way to get somebody's chin folding into their chest and imparting some momentum on them. All right, so Coop, let's see. So just something to recognize. I know I point this out a lot, but the direction my knees are pointing, Cooper, I think you're, whatever, dude. I think you are going in the right direction, but because I have that right arm of yours under control, I don't see you blocking in behind my knee and passing to the backside. I don't know. I don't think I have that arm under enough control. You're really committing to that grip over the top. Just remember, you've got to get my feet unhooked from your leg before you can cross behind me, all right? And when you don't, what happens is I start to roll with you, I get my knees up in, and I start to work from a guard again. So recognize those opportunities. When those knees are pointing away from you, take full advantage of that. You can sacrifice your upper body grips for a brief moment to establish that guard pass. Clay looking for the anaconda. Let's see what went wrong there. So from the snap down, looks like David maybe tries to like hit a I don't know if you'd call it a duck under, but just like kind of an Udigeishi break that grip, but he ends up going down. Yeah, Clay just doesn't get his hips down the body far enough to stay balanced, but I like that. You didn't get the grip, but you maintained the control and transition to the back, almost. David trying to hide the back now. Maybe a bit of pressure on the neck. I'm not sure. It's a new Twitch update. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I think I got the screen to stop blinking, which I'm super stoked on. Okay, Peter sits down for this one. All right, so Coop getting to that dorsal Kimura position, working to the armbar, and already I could tell as we were going through this, already a significant difference in your frantic kind of movement that we saw on the last stream that we called you out on to a much more controlled approach to this. So good chest to tricep contact here, starting to slip a little bit as you climb over. As I turn up and over and roll through it, Stay really well controlled on the arm. It wasn't just you. No blinky. Really nice. You guys got to be on the lookout for Clay's Katagatames. He's finding these from everywhere. Caught me in a couple of them. But this is great. This is something Luke loves to do. I'm sure all of us have probably been caught in it. But from the back, when we start getting our hips free and not our upper body, and the underhook side is on top, and we start turning, if we don't have a grip broken, we're putting ourselves in a very dangerous spot, right? We kind of don't realize it because we think we're getting out of back control, but really we're just setting ourselves up for the Katagatame or arm triangle. So here, as David starts to get the shoulders to the mat, Clay leaves that control arm, or he kind of has two control arms at this point, but he leaves that top side arm in, says, cool, go ahead, take your hips out, turn towards me, get my bottom leg out, and then settle in. I think the first match I ever had in competition, that may have been how I got caught. That was the first sub I ever got tapped to. The same kind of thing, turning out when I thought it was safe, but I kept my arm too high. I went right into it. See Luke trying to beat up Brooke here. And then, so for David, this is a bad, it's not a bad spot. It's a good learning opportunity. So, talking about things you never have to worry about in wrestling. Well, at least I wouldn't think so. Right now, David may be thinking, my arm is real close to Clay's leg. Maybe I could, like, knee pick him here, get him off balance, something. Just get this fight to the ground. The problem is, he reaches the arm in between the legs. Clay already has back exposure. Now, all Clay has to do is come around over top, and he gets what I'm always trying to get on you guys, and something I'm always advocating for. He gets the arm trap with the leg. He had it from the setup, and it was purely David's doing at this point. So if you're gonna try to grab a leg, generally speaking, this is probably not the best place to do it. If you're thinking like maybe if you're turtled up and there's a leg within reach, you're not going to want to reach your arm between the legs. You want to reach your arm to the outside of the leg, grab down by the ankle with a false grip, and you could start to get yourself free from there. When you put that arm in between the legs, you're just opening yourself up for the arm trap, and it's super difficult to get out of from there. Now, if they went to the ground and David maybe went behind this leg and then tried to capture that leg with his two legs, feeding it with the arm into between the legs, might have been a safer option. But yeah, that's tough. Always frustrating when that happens. Ooh, look at, let's see, is that Eric? Over here with Austin. Throws up the super high guillotine. He gets his leg up over the shoulder. I think his hand's a little too low. It looks like Austin's able to fight it. But he gets right into a triangle just outside. Or no, not a triangle. He doesn't have an arm in, but it was a nice way to try to finish a guillotine. Clay with the broomstick. David managing to hold it off. Just flying in the back, nonstop. Let's look drop Brook. Bam. It's just mean. Steven just trying to intimidate Austin here. Looks like Jordan and Clay, I think. Yeah. Did you and Josh, did you and Mike roll for like 2 rounds, or did you just catch a half a round in the beginning? Ooh. Steven with this slick cross Ashi entrance. Let's look at did Caleb just sit before we go to Steven? Oh no, just a lot of heavy snapping on Caleb here. So he was coming forward at me a lot. Go to the knee. Yeah, not the slickest takedowns, but just a lot of heavy head pressure. So with Steven, I don't know what you're trying to say, Jordan. This is nice. Let's go back a little bit. Okay, so from half guard, this is cool. So Steven turns from his left to his right, and with that leg in and pulling his right leg back, he enters into a cross Ashi, almost into a cross Ashi. Once he gets the inversion, scoops that leg in right behind the knee, and then I like, I don't know, maybe this, there are probably varied opinions on this, but as Austin's trying to like get himself sorted out here, maybe trying to turn in this direction to initiate hiding the heel early, Steven's elevating him with that left leg hook that he's got. It's going to make it damn near impossible for Austin to turn to his left. So he can kind of take the time, get Austin broken down, keep the heel exposed, and then sets up his triangle. So now he, notice he immediately goes to gather the second leg. Going back for the cloverleaf and gets it. That was nice, man. Slick entrance. We got Brandon and Pat up there. Brandon trying his own leg entrances. Josh, how did you almost get... Oh, okay. So I think this is a good example. Peters and I, after seeing James do it a million times, we're looking for this over the back grip. Looks like Peters was going for it there. Why didn't it work? Oh, yeah. So this is an interesting detail with this grip. When you manage to clear the crossface, so Josh normally would be cross-facing with his right arm in like a standard side control. You've got to beat that crossface when you're going for this sit-up. For lack of a better word, I've just heard it called octopus guard. I think that's how Craig Jones refers to it. When you beat that crossface, though, you have to keep that elbow high. That way they can't pummel back over, right? So as Peters goes up for the grip, he starts to initiate his get up, but Josh is able to reestablish that crossface because he basically gets the angle on it. So keeping that elbow up and then having to set up your leg position from there to help the setup is kind of the next step in that. There we go. I guess I don't need to make an octopus emote. I think Caleb was Joe because of that rash guard. Yeah, they definitely, like, you put the same rash guard on him. It's like you and Josh. You can never tell. Caleb and Joe, you and Josh, very similar. Let's see, Clay got to an early, or he was on that arm triangle for a while. So same thing, Clay's on the back. Jordan starts to turn, but he doesn't clear the elbow, and now Josh has, or Clay has a a lot of time to start settling into this arm triangle. So we could see here, starts to go through, takes him maybe 20, 30 seconds or so before he finally gets to tap. But this whole, hell, even more than that, he's on that one for a while. But that just speaks to the level of control that you have from that position. So even when you get it, you could really take your time to settle in, unless you're doing it to Brooke, at which point just give up and move to something else because she doesn't tap to it. Wanted me to dummy sweep him so he could rip off my leg. Yeah. That's that's part of the game, homie. I've definitely done that before myself. Steven isolating a leg. Everybody about to clash heads. Steven, I think you probably, it looks like you hesitated a bit there because you guys were getting close, but this looked promising. See, Austin, yeah, I think that was more of a consequence of being safe than losing that pass. Caleb with the sweep. This sucked. I knew I was screwed for the next 3.5 minutes. So he gives me a bump, creates enough space, and is very quick on the shot to the low single. Trying to sprawl out, but he does a very good job here using his head to force me in this direction. Gets me off balance enough to where I just can't keep up. And now I'm in some trouble. Yeah, if you think about it, Josh, working your way to into someone's close guard just to do the standing guard break, just to have them hit the dummy sweep on you, is probably one of the most low effort ways to get into a cross Ashi. Also, take note, Steven, since you're looking for ways to get there more. I mean, it's a little cheeky. You give up, actually, I don't know. I wouldn't even say you give up a sweep if you just enter right into the legs. They don't establish a top position on you, so I don't think they would get points for that. For real, dude. Excellent work there, Josh. I like this, like, as Peters tries to set up the body lock pass, there's more than one ways to address it. I really like that you just hit a technical lift and say, nah, we're not going to play that game. You didn't give him a chance to establish a grip behind your back. You kind of set up your own headlock first, probably grabbing the chin here, slowing him down from moving forward, and just quick hip switch out the back to get yourself safe. And now you get to go on the attack. Austin is really grabbing for the tripod sweep here. So much going on. See Clay and Jordan. So Clay's got an underhook, Jordan with the whizzer. Trying to kick that leg out. That would have been a good time off that missed Uchimata to swing around for that front headlock instead of just settling there. And then, yeah, look at that. So as soon as that whizzer comes up, Jordan's hand comes out for blocking. Even here, I think Clay could hit a pretty easy duck under. But as soon as that arm's over the back, Clay's like, hey, cool, thank you. Out the side. Jordan manages to stay square on him, though. So for Peters to try to hit the octopus guard again. Curious if he's gonna attempt it here. No. Settle in with the crossface. What's up, Caleb? Just in time for you to see you smother me. This was, I forgot you did this to me. Luke hit the nastiest smother on me in advanced, gave me a nosebleed. So I was like, oh, great. Caleb's going to do it. Actually, since you're here, just take a quick recap. So you got knee staple. There was a lot of hand fighting here. I remember that. Yeah, I don't think there was anything nothing too deeply technical we got to get into. Yeah. No, I know. I won't let you. Clay's looking to hit his Kimura from that half guard. That leg trapped. Oh, nice. Jordan stays safe. Good. Staying on the single leg. So Clay can't quite as easily get up from here. And easily gets up from there. I wonder if he just slips the leg right out. Looks like Jordan had that hand based out, and that's what led him. Right from here, I don't think Clay was getting out. Right there, as the hand goes to the mat, he's got an easy way to extract that leg. Steven frantically getting around Austin's guard here. So already passed. Good escape. Austin gets his knees in. Is really trying his damnedest to high leg over. Quick directional switch. For the back exposure too. Nice way to ride through that. I'm glad you went for your hooks there too. Just like, it looked like the body triangle wasn't going in immediately. You may have been able to get it there, but better to establish some level of control rather than to just like keep rolling with them. Damn, active round. Did I? Oh yeah, I did. I heel hooked Caleb here, didn't I? Yeah. So just because he smothered me, I'm gonna take the time to go over my leg lock against him. So he thinks he has me. He doesn't. I get my knee free. Here we go. We're into 50-50 now. Did I get it or did I run out of time here? So my hip position and knee position is much better in this 50-50 compared to Caleb's. Peters just pointed this out a lot on stream when we talked about it, but my knee that's in, of my primary leg, my right leg, knee is pointing down. My hips are behind Caleb's knee. I'm fairly safe. I'm not too concerned with straight ankles or toe holds here from this position. I mean, I'm sure one of you guys has probably done it to me before, but I'm immediately taking the opportunity to attack until I see a need to defend. And that's generally the strategy from 50-50. And here I make a leg switch. It looks like Caleb got the knee out as he peels my legs open. So we're still going backwards. It's my top leg off. So now I don't really have any good wedging on that primary leg. Knee slips out. So I make a quick switch to the left leg. Now I'm into an outside Ashi Garami. Digging on the heel. And I am actually in a bit of trouble here. So Caleb is countering with that leg over the top, which is a really smart move. He keeps his heel safe. His heel is hidden. I think Caleb, if you had continued to roll, in this direction, you may have been able to get my heel exposed and like really put on a counter. Let's see. Really don't want you to pull that leg out. So now we switch back into 50-50. I run out of time. Okay. It would have been a fun exchange to let go for another minute. Steven with the quick front headlock. Never, dude. Looking for the knee pick off the reverse collar tie. David with the sit through. Let's go back like that. So reverse collar tie grip to a knee pick, like a near side knee pick. Have you done this before, Steven? I'm curious how. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm curious how effective it is. Like, I feel like if you could get that head low enough with the reverse collar tie, you could probably dump somebody pretty easily from here. But with upright posture, it might be a little more difficult. If they have upright posture, I'd switch instead to, you know, a high underhook with this and a knee pick to the other side, where the hand that's reverse collar tying is going to the knee. And then with you pushing into David, he says, "Let me have it." Takes him over. How do we see? Did Luke sit? Did Luke sit? He feinted in a takedown attempt just so he could say he didn't guard pull. Nah, it was a valiant effort. It's way too shallow knee. Looking at it now, almost seems sure it may have been better. Yeah. Me and Pat, I gotta point out some stuff in that match. So Luke really digging on this right leg. He's got like a closed grip behind the knee, trying to set up into an outside Ashi. Now making the turn into a cross Ashi. He's got to get Clay's butt to the mat, either by sitting down that way or inverting and getting him off balance and almost coming out the back to like a, I guess you'd call it a backside 50-50. I always get mixed up with backside 50-50. You and Josh had fun stuff? Where are you? Okay, I see you. A lot going on here. Let's see. Let's go back. We got Cooper and Mike too. And then Steven got on David's back here. So as David went down, did you guys, looks like maybe you relocate? Oh, okay. No, he went high on the head. Steven sneaks out the back. Got it. Did you use your channel points, Josh? I think you're the first one to use channel points. I need you to put on a tutorial for everybody on how to use them. You guys probably have like thousands of them. I need to set up stuff for you guys to use them for. Don't hesitate, Coop. Come on, you're the young gun here, man. I need you doing the cool Twitch stuff so everybody looks stupid. 2.8K. Come on, dog. Cash those in, or give me ideas for what I can do to set them up. I guess everybody just highlight their messages then. Thank you, Missy. You had me in something. I escaped and we got into legs. Oh, it's cool. I won't go back then if it's fine. Looks like, is this for you guys? I mean, shit, how far back was it? Almost at the beginning of the round here. Oh, here we go. All right. So Josh inverting. Damn. Going in, getting the leg, and moving to a reverse Ashi. But Cole coming up and over, looking to counter here into a... This is interesting. What would you call this? I mean, this is really... I think this is just a cross Ashi. You just have a really bad angle on the leg. Like, you're straight on, but it should be a cross Ashi. So you're almost, yeah, that was more 50-50, I guess. Because your left leg is over. I guess Josh tapped that one. I didn't even see. You're like, do you like stack emotes or something, Josh? I have no idea how you do that. Just never did see how Luke got with this leg. Steven also looking for the leg trap on David, but maybe David learned his lesson a little bit earlier. Put some sunglasses on Danaher. Yeah, Luke really doesn't want to give up on that leg. But he's got to get Clay off balance, which is no easy feat, of course. Let's see. So with Pat here, we had this was a fun test of a guard passing technique I like to use, where we that's actually cool. I like that one. Where we get to the typical spot where we have one leg up the middle. You guys know how much I like to work from like that headquarters position. Except here I'm not down like in a squat stance. I'm looking for an open space so I could get my left leg buried, my left foot buried next to Pat's right hip. So you'll see me kind of biding my time. Right there, I sweep my foot in. Make sure it's on camera. Now, the other part of this is I'm remaining up, not perfectly upright, but my left hand, the one that corresponds to that foot and the hip, my left hand is pressing down on the opposite shoulder, and I'm doing what I can to lay Pat flat to his back. So I have my foot next to one hip, his right hip. I have my hand on his left shoulder, bit of diagonal control there. And then I'm looking to use my free hand, my right hand, to post on the knee. And I'm looking for my opportunity to high step my leg out. I can high step and take a back step and work around to basically a side control, or I can high step and forward step and sit into mount if I want. So here you see my hand getting into position, working to get my leg free. Pat isn't going to be able, if I do this right, Pat's not going to be able to turn towards me because I'm keeping him flat. So there he goes to shrimp his butt away because he can only move his hips in the one direction. So he shrimps his butt away, but he opens his legs as he does it, right? So that he can press off the mat. I can keep those legs open and step my leg out and start stepping around. There he gave me a quick block, so I just kind of hesitated a bit, brought the leg forward, and now I'm past the guard. So a form of like loose passing slash half guard passing, but we're working from a standing position, not a typical heavy half guard position. Thank you, Pat. Pat started talking smack here, but I had to remind him that I did the same guard pass on him, I think 3 times before I got to his back. But to his credit, I didn't get the strangle, and I feel like I haven't strangled you in a minute, Pat. You have a way with shutting down my hand fighting. Looks like Clay has gotten his leg free at this point. Caleb trying to break Brandon's arm. Good defense, Brandon. Steven, did you get that? Ooh, you did not. You didn't get the strangle. But you establish your control arm on the right side. You get that facing down. And switch into the arm bar. Let's see what happens here. So now it's going to be a battle of grips and breaking David down. As David starts to stack. Nice. Nice, nice. Very good. Hey, submission defense is as valuable of a skill as anything else. Luke keeping that inner leg high so that Clay can't jump into mounts. Clay working from a shin pin on that near side arm. Believe looking for his Kimura. I guess a tap. Nice. So let's see. This is a cool variation. Normally, let's see. You'll see variations of stepping this leg over the body, which normally leads to a roll. This is the leg that's doing most of the heavy loading here, though. Getting the cross-face leg once you have that arm isolated. This is excellent finishing position for the Kimura. Wish we could see the grip right now, but either way, once you have the arm isolated and you get the head and shoulders under control, that's what's going to get you the tap. Really great finish. Takedown, Luke stays in guard. I hope it's his leg on the other side of the head. Yeah, absolutely essential. If you think about it, when you do that, what you're really doing is exposing the back more, because you can press off that leg and with your grip pull the shoulder up. And you got to remember the Kimura is nothing if you don't get the knuckles behind the back, right? So totally essential. You guys are having too much fun. Now Luke in on a leg here in a 50-50 position. I think he could have sat Clay down there, possibly hanging on the leg. I have a feeling Luke was being a bit more careful with this since it was an inside heel hook.
Get those knuckles deep on that Kimura.
That's right. Coop almost had, looks like Mike had slipped his arm out, so not much of a triangle there. What did Caleb do? All right, Caleb and Brandon on a little leg locky. So 50-50. But Caleb is keeping his leg safe, running a little interference with that second leg. Switching to an outside Ashi. And Brandon a little late on getting that leg over, and looks just to be a bit too immobilized at this point to really put on a good fight. And then meanwhile, I think I got tired of not being able to strangle Pat, so I hit a quick back step into a crappy reverse Ashi, and then I hold on to the foot at the center of my chest for a cross Ashi position and look to get the inside heel hook. Not a traditional inside heel hook, maybe more akin to like the Mikey lock, but ugly. Ugly. What would you have announced, Cole? Maybe you make an announcement now. Throwing shade on announcements. Who are you, dude? Clay high stepping out of here. Yeah. Oh, ends the round. Good round. All right, Cole and Mike. I tried to hit a quick takedown on Josh. He wasn't having it. Fake sit. Steven did this to me a while ago, but kind of sit into guard and then take a quick shot. Wasn't quick enough. But I'm really trying to focus a lot on just standing up with you guys. What did happen there? So you had me broken down pretty well. I was just look out the side. I should have shot on that. Wasted opportunity. That would actually be perfect, and then be real vague about it, so I just like go back and look and waste time, and there's nothing to actually look at. That's totally something you would do. Ooh, Steven. What comes of this? Alright, looks like you just settle into side control. That was nice though. That looked very similar to the grip that we were working on with Gary Tonin, right? So on the shot, keeping the head under control, shoot to the underhook, and I assume an overhook on the other side. And then, oh no, okay, you did have like a chin strap grip, but using the more of a cow catcher to put him to his back and then settle into your position. Yeah, you would, dude. Oh, Caleb, nice pass, man. That's honestly one of my favorite passes to do on Luke, especially since his recent change in weight class. I get to hear, and I feel like I could stack him on his neck so easily that I get back exposure when I do it. And some, you know, this isn't a bad version of this, Caleb. But think about that though. Try to stack him to his neck, a little bit higher. I mean, like really exaggerated. And I'm not trying to like break Luke's spine here, but when you get somebody up on their neck and then shuck the legs by, the more elevated their hips are over their head, the more difficult it's going to be for them to recover. Like Cooper thinks Cole only has like 2 or 3 things he eats. I still think Peter's arm is not that hard, dude. It's pretty small. I'm just kidding. Yeah, well, shit, man. He kind of like, I'm not gonna say he gave it to you, but he definitely like put it up very high. And then I think, let's see, you switch your grip and keep him from getting it back. Okay, sorry, I just saw Caleb doing this. We were talking about this earlier. This is some Instagram move attempting going on. This kind of guard break from addresses my head too well during the passing. Yeah. This is that. It looked like you're doing that guard break you were talking to me about with the hip switch, but I don't think like. You're not bringing his head any closer to his feet on that, which I think is part of the requirement of that move. Maybe I speak too soon. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I'm sure that move could be tightened up a bit. I just don't like the... I feel like if a couple things have to absolutely go right, otherwise you put yourself in a pretty bad spot. But I don't know. Let me know how it keeps working for you if you keep playing with it. So Mike may be a little in trouble up top, but he needs to get his hips underneath. Switching between this like X guard position to like deep half, and now back to guard. Okay. I think it can work. I just feel like you somehow need to bring the head and like the upper body closer to, like, you have to crunch them in. I feel like that's gonna put you in less danger of getting rolled to your back, and it will also put more strain on their legs. Like, I think that's the key to that move. And considering, you know, the fact that I'll probably never successfully get it on you guys, I can't say I'm gonna put too much time into it myself, but talk to Matt about it a little bit more. See if you could pull some other like little important details out of it, and keep playing with it. And for what it's worth, you told me, or you agreed when I said that I saw that on Instagram, and you were like, yeah, me too. You didn't tell me Matt did it. Josh on the single leg to behind me. I think he throws me down here at some point. Five one. How did that make you feel, Jordan? Hungry, I assume. What did Mike get here? Cole, what did you let Mike do to you? It's just kind of mean. You can't really get that arm out. So he just throws a triangle up on you. I don't know why we haven't seen more of this. Working to the wrong way triangle here. Does he get anything with this triangle? Cole, you need to get around with Cooper. He's throwing a lot of shade. Okay, there we go. So Mike digs the arm out for that. Gotcha. So that wrong way triangle lends itself well to Kimuras. But then, you know, what is a straight arm defense out of a Kimura often leads to, if you're on your back, that like straight arm bar, Udigatami, or if you're not on your back, if you're belly down, then just that inverted arm bar we were looking at last Monday, I believe. Like trying to go heavier on the leg here. Caleb on the knee bar, but the knee is already out. Steven working the shin pin as well. So that was, I believe that was the same. Hold on. So when Clay was doing the shin pin to Kimura, he was using the leg side. Here you're using the head side leg. So yeah, using this leg for the shin pin, you're doing it on a side I normally don't do it on, so that's why I'm like having a brain fart with it. But using the body side leg, or the leg side leg, whatever you want to call it, that leads well to the obviously the Kimura we saw earlier, but also the side control entrance into the triangle, that shoulder drop entrance that I have really taken to. This shin pin, I think, works very well for Americanas, and then obviously like stepping into mount too. I think you could get away with the Americana with the other shin pin as well. And to the rear triangle. Nice, man. Stop looking away from the screen while I'm thinking. See how you got here. So, okay, yeah, you let that go. Now you've got him locked up in the triangle. That's a great entrance. Very nice. So as he sneaks it out, you scoop everything up. That was beautiful. Really like that. Write that one down. Last ditch effort on the shot for nothing. I did give you some props to one of the other people on video right now, saying that your legs were annoyingly, noticeably not weaker. That's the best you're gonna get from me. Damn, Coop's just trying to get beat up from all the adults. Throwing shade on the Corvette. Making fun of Cole's diet. All right, there we go. Mike with a six. Oh, no, wait. That's me and Mike talking about the octopus guard. I thought he just hit it successfully. But this is the idea we were talking about. So, like, from this half guard where people sit into a reverse quesa and start working to either, like, spin the legs or, you know, get their knee free or whatever. I think this is where we were seeing James play around with it, as well as from side control, perhaps. Sitting up, propping up to an elbow. Getting the hips up and going for it. Could not get double unders. Man, I had a double under position from guard on Luke the other day. And he told me, he's like, I knew that I was screwed if I didn't get out of that. He like managed to pummel out. I was so pissed. We'll pay attention. Hold on. So Jordan with the underhook. Looks like, I think Jordan, you were working the takedown. We either did that night or maybe the previous Monday. I think it was, yeah, it was this night. You give the grip up here a little bit too much, and you probably need to be a little bit more aggressive with it with Clay. And then he goes for a little counter there. Really nice. Yeah, I mean, you had the right idea. And, like, honestly, man, like, I think getting the underhook is, like, 80% of that battle on that takedown. I've quietly been making a real effort to try to work on establishing underhooks instead of just relying on collar ties and stuff. Clay working to a mounted triangle almost. Good job. It's a little bridge, and he didn't, before he established any sort of control over the arms, good enough to get you safe. See, he's got such a smooth way of getting in those underhooks. It pisses me off. Like, I mean, even what I'll just call poor posture, right? Like just hunched over, like you maybe, you know, you're not sure if he's gonna like reach down on a leg or something like that, and just really shoots up with the arm. And even with an underhook like this, you can do so much with. It doesn't need to be like some super deep grip. That's nice. Take it over with the head. Cole, looks like you're making Steven miserable. It sucks. You're getting in these spots, Cole, where like, I know if you could post with your right arm right now, you could establish a much better position than just being like face down like that. But yeah, do what you can. Yeah, maybe you should watch your mouth, Josh. Oh, I didn't even see you and Cooper going. Okay. And I just like missed the message. What happened there? Okay, straight arm over the head. And Americana. Clay weighing up the legs, working to a pass, gets into half guard, slips the knee, straighten him out. Jordan, you're better than that. Don't let him slip through. Cole doing something funky. What was this? So Steven goes to a standing guard break. Deep underhook on the leg. I like that grip, Cole. This is good. I imagine maybe not to take credit away from you if you like just did this, but I know Peters is a big advocate of this grip, like shoulder behind the ankle, hand up to the knee. Very, very secure grip. And then inverting the knee, inverting your left knee, turning towards the leg, taking your grip down to the ankle, but Steven gets his knee free to get safe. Man with one arm, I'd say that's pretty damn good. Yeah, me too, man. Clay Aiken. I like that. At some point, Steven tried to smother me from in his guard. My nose is still bruised. That's a solid nickname. What was the... we don't need to go back. I know what it looks like when you get smothered. Happened to me twice that day. Clay making good use of the butterflies there for a second at least. It was a good... Yeah, nice. It's a good initial attempt there, Cole. So as Clay goes in on that Kimura, that's good. Now you've got him in a bad spot with that head and arm, which he knows. So he's looking for a sweep now. Again, with two hands at your disposal, I think you could have maintained your base a little bit better and put Clay in a bad spot there. Yeah, it's been fun being so quickly reminded how and frequently reminded how important control is in this entire game. Clay from Mount digging on that Kimura. He's got good instincts with this as far as getting to a strong finishing position. That's what I'm talking about. So like from here, now the difference we're seeing from the other ones is his leg is not between, it's not caught between the legs. So this is where you're going to see the most powerful Kimuras right there, man. Like best case, that leg would still come over the top, but getting, like, when your opponent tries to roll with this and shut down the rotation, you just have so much power to use with your legs to separate that arm and really throw on like some proper braking mechanics. Yeah, he got the jump on you there just because he had the underhook. just as I looked over, I thought you guys were. Got some heavy cross-face pressure here. Quick jump over into mounts. It's good. Get your posture back. Settle in. If you didn't get the arms right away, there's nothing wrong with taking a minute. Kale's in a world of hurt. Mike just putting him down. Something Clay has no problem doing that. I think we were talking a little bit about it last time, but like posting up on his neck, as uncomfortable as it may seem or actually be, depending on who you are, notice what it's doing is making the legs very light and much more maneuverable, and also giving him a free arm that he can bug your legs, right? Pushing on the knee, trying to get his own knee free, and then trying to establish a passing position. The same way, like you see wrestlers, using their head when they're finishing takedowns. They're fighting for head position. They're using their head as a base. Like, if you could kind of use it as an extra limb, you gain a pretty significant advantage. I'm always a little hesitant too, just because of like my own neck problems I've had, that whenever the once or twice a year my neck tweaks and I'm out for like 2 weeks, try to avoid those. But certain times when it works really well, it can make all the difference. So let's see how Mike responds to this before Kurt blocks it. We'll look at this. When you're not getting the arm bar, well, Kale's not even going for the arm bar, but what he does here, this is some more Instagram stuff. He digs his left arm behind Mike's neck, and he uses his right arm under Mike's arm and under his own leg, to establish a grip, and then he cuts his angle and triangles his legs. This is, maybe you could say, similar to a buggy choke. I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet. Eric does it to me over here later in this round. This will be on IG. Nah, dude. Actually, some of this stuff will. The muggy choke. I'm glad Peters was like, nah, I'm not tapping. Ooh, Joshua. Damn, dog. You could have done something cool. So working from this high knee shield position here. That was a nice move. Let's see, if you could have gotten that foot over and like under Steven's stomach, like all the way over, and then weave it underneath him, I think Steven would have been in a whole lot more trouble here. You don't get as much push with that leg now as you would if you had it under his hip, which could force. Let's see, could you force Steven to roll with this actually? If you, let's see. This would be tough because if you drop Steven's head with this leg and he forward rolls, he's gonna land on that leg of yours. You're not gonna have a body side leg for an armbar, but you'll have a leg over the face, so like a quarter armbar. Not the most secure position, but if you got that leg fully under, I think you would have been a lot better. Starting to get the grip tight when he lost the grip. Good thing I'm fat. Seals up. Yeah. Yeah, Steven's got that little curtain. You gotta get under. Yeah, there may be a bit of a size advantage that Mike or I have, like in the broadness of our shoulders against Kale and Eric, that would shut that strangle down. The helicopter. Clay getting that arm extension right before the bell. Yeah, where did Eric, so Eric's over there, spends a lot of time on that. There he goes. He sets it up. And it was, I think the thing I don't like about this move so much is that I have so much mobility with my legs that I think with enough angle you can really just kind of turn yourself out of it. They've got to get the strangle on pretty quickly. Yeah, I do, dude. Otherwise you'll be like, hey, something happened. You didn't see it. Actually, no, you wouldn't do that if you're the one getting tapped. Steven and I, for our first roll in what seemed like forever, which it involves a lot of this. Just a warning. See, I'm trying to shoot in on those underhooks. Low single, but I guess I was pissed that you got out of this. So I knew I had you off balance really well. I think I just didn't it's like right here. Kind of just gave up. I needed to keep that foot under control. Like as I stood up, I lost it and was not gonna recover it. Whipping me down to the mat. I'm pretty confident that I would deny you takedown points in all those situations, which is why I'm comfortable with attempting it. I don't know. Maybe it might come down to like how long my knees are on the mat, though. At which point I'm just kind of giving up points. But here, as you fall through on this, let's see what goes wrong. So I think you get your leg up the middle, and I immediately grab it, and now I'm into a reverse Ashi, and then a quick switch into an outside Ashi. And then with that belly down position, that's where I get my heel exposure. So ahead a little faster. As we go to switch, notice I'm really trying to control the foot as I establish heel exposure. Right there. Scoop in. And then now as we roll back down, I had to really make a conscious effort here to adjust my heel position. So right here, as you give me room as you sit up, notice where my feet are. They're outside your hip. I don't want them there. I want them behind your hips. So I'm keeping my legs safe. I don't think I'm getting the tap at all. And I realize that's where I want to be. So I make a little adjustment and then really back heel in. And that's where I get the tap. So it's one of those finishing mechanics. Like, I've been drilling into like Gavin and Braden, right? Because they're always trying to break my knees. But it's enough to just put the last little bit of pressure onto that move that really makes all the difference. I feel like that's something that was missing in my outside heel hooks for years. You know, meanwhile I'm like getting heel hooked left and right by Mike and never catching that detail. Coop, you just gotta yell at us, man. Assert yourself, dude. I can't wait for photo day. What are you guys gonna wear? I didn't even know that was happening until like right before that email went out. Okay, cool. We should do like a yearbook kind of photo spread. Post it on Instagram. Maybe have like senior quotes or something. Play with the stack pass, but Mike just barely keeping the knee in. Mike's getting really flowy with this guard retention. Or not getting, like he is very flowy there. Whichever email is attached to your membership, Coop, they got an email about a photo day. So Mike on a deep shoulder crunch. Let's see how we got set up there. This Clay gathering for the double. Now, I think this is going to be one of those weak points or vulnerabilities, I should say, coming from wrestling to jiu-jitsu. This like arm up over the shoulder. We teach that like when you're doing a guillotine defense. Generally speaking, though, not a great position for your arm. Just turns into a very easy shoulder crunch position for your opponent, right? And Clay, keep in mind, I don't know if you've heard me say this. I say it quite frequently whenever I catch it on the stream, but when you're in somebody's guard, I want you to make it a priority to break the guard, not to attack. Not that I think you're attacking right now per se, like purely, you know, trying to, you know, pummel Mike or anything like that. But this like very forward posture with your arms up over your head, away from your ribs, that's vulnerability all there. So when you're in someone's guard, you know, work on that standing guard break we went over. Work on keeping your posture and all that. Don't let your arms get extended. Don't let your elbows get away from your body. Really the best way to think about it. Certainly not over your shoulder line. Because this is what will happen to you. So Mike sits up, gets his butterflies in, and then now he's either looking for a sweep or the straight arm Udigatami. Slip the arm out. Definitely a dangerous spot to be. I don't want to see you playing there too frequently. I'd much rather just see you not get there at all. Steven on my back. Not good. How do you get there? So collar tie, have my over tied. God, I should have ankle picked you. Why didn't I do that? That was right for the picking right there. Jesus, that's infuriating. So you just get the tight waist grip. And I think I try to get away. I got a minute left. Getting smashed. I guess, man, I was in a generous mood. Now, Peter's looking for that leg entrance. Doesn't get it. You guys should all be aware now. We've seen Mike do this so much. Trying to hit the knee cut. You can't knee cut. This is getting a little technical. But when we're talking leg entrances, if you're gonna split the legs like this and maybe work like leg riding or anything like that, this foot has to stay behind here. As soon as the foot comes over the leg, you're giving them cross Ashi Garami. So that's Mike knows that, and he's looking for it here. So now he can either try to get in on this side, or he'll invert and switch to. He would have tried to switch to outside Ashi if that roll kept going. But just something to be very mindful of. Can't let the foot slip in front there. I think Steven rides out this round. Oh no, that's right. Buried both of my legs through, and then quick cross Ashi entrance. All right, so I think we just get Steven. This devolves into technique talk over here. So we'll zoom in on these two. For the last round of the night. And big congrats to Brandon for getting his blue belt last Tuesday. I can't remember if we shouted it out on the stream or not, but one of the definitely one of our most, actually I'm gonna say our most positive student out of all of you, especially the ones in the chat. Brandon is nicer and smiles way more and is kinder than all of you, and it's well deserved. I think all of you would agree with it if you know Brandon. So he's put in a lot of time and went from being a floppy white belt who would just give things up to a really, really seriously turning up his aggression, all while maintaining a huge smile on his face. So super proud of him. Heavy collar tie on Steven. Trying to break his posture down. He's getting a mean single leg too. Steven's going to be a hard one to test it on, but Brandon's definitely... Oh, you bastard. I forget you do that every once in a while. So the standing no-gi baseball bat choke entrance. So the it's like an S grip behind the head, sitting through and hitting that 180-degree turn and just torquing your forearms all the way around your opponent's neck. You're the only one who does that. I need to add that to the repertoire. Maybe we'll make a video of that one too. See, even Brandon's even smiling in amazement as he just got baseball bat choked. He is, no joke, man. Sitting back on a leg. This is, I think, something that's going to be one of Brandon's projects too for the next couple of months. I want to see him really develop his straight ankle because he sits in on it a lot, and I've been over a lot of the finishing mechanics with him. But there are definitely some pointers to brush up on there. But it's going to be mean when it all clicks. Now Steven coming over with a big reap. I don't know, I think Brandon tapped a little early on that one, but this is more of a, oops, where's my pointer? This is a much more like old school classic kind of grip too. This like figure 4 grip. Pretty high on the leg. Brandon, don't let Steven have that, man. Let your shin break before you tap to that. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. What are you saying, Coop? Teach us Saturday? Teach us Saturday? Looks like Steven looking for... Okay, he's just got the knee shield in right now. I think. Yeah. Maybe. That would be a fun takedown, right? Like, screw the takedown into a pin. We'll just take down right to a submission. Toes were barely in my armpit, so the foot was way extended. Okay, I got you. Yeah, there's like that sweet spot on straight ankles where, let's see if we can go back a second. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see from this position, but when you get just the toes like in your armpit, like when Luke catches me there, I don't feel danger on my Achilles. I don't feel danger on the ligaments on the top of my foot. I feel like the metatarsals, the bones of my foot are gonna break. It's so painful because your toes like curl down and then it comes into like the longer bones of your feet. It absolutely sucks. But it's such a hard spot, I feel like, to aim for. Maybe I just haven't tried to aim for it. But when you get it, it's a sure tap. Unless they're willing to take breaks in their foot, which is just stupid. So there's the cross Ashi entrance again. Brandon knows he's got to get that secondary leg safe. Now he could start. Oh, he's doing what I told. Man, he was looking for the counter, and I think Steven knew it. I love this. Steven's like, go ahead, try it. Yeah, but you got to keep your own foot safe. There you go. Running second leg interference. Gets caught again on the secondary straight ankle. But let's just look at what he does here and why this is awesome to me. So first off, great entrance by Steven. Brandon knows he has to keep that leg his so that he can roll away if he needs to or go into other counters. So I think he's actually going for the counterattack, not the escape. What he's going to do is slip this leg underneath Steven's right leg. And if he can successfully do that, he can capture Steven's right leg. Right. I feel like he almost does it. Right here, he straightens it out. We can't really see the full configuration, but he can go on a counterattack on Steven's right leg and look for his own outside heel hook. When you do this, though, you absolutely have to keep your legs safe. Steven can still dig on the heel. Steven can bury his head to the mat, get his hips up, initiate a roll. It doesn't put his own foot in a good spot, but it will help him dig out a heel, as well as just like more brute force splitting the legs with his hands to get the heel of the primary leg, Brandon's right leg. Now Steven starts to get some exposure. Then just decides to go back on the same exact grip on that same exact leg. I like that Brandon's looking for that, though. That's awesome. What's that? Another little rolling entry. Brandon's like, come on, man, not again. Jesus. Cruel, hitting the same thing 3 times. Wow, great stuff, guys. Always fun to review your matches. I hope you guys are getting something out of it. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. I appreciate it as always. I think Peters will be back for Sundays, so you can expect to see him there. We are wrapping up Closed Guard this week, so make sure you're there tomorrow and Saturday for the final. Good night, Joshua. Make sure you're there for the final classes for Closed Guard before we move on to Open Guard and all of the many positions that entails. What else? I think that's it for now. Photo day coming up. Check your emails. Thank you, Steven. And yeah, other than that, follow us here. If you're lurking in the chat, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe. You can use your Twitch Prime, and it helps us out at no cost to you. And subscribe over on YouTube as well, where we will post this for you guys to review. Who's on yearbook committee? We're holding open votes. So, nominate yourself, nominate your friends, and we'll put it out. And in the end, it'll be nobody. And we'll just make something without any of your permissions. What else? Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Yeah, so go, follow, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, we'll see you back on the mats. Go trim your nails and do your laundry, and don't be stinky. I'll see you later.